For years, Airbnb felt unstoppable. It wasn't just a company, it was a cultural phenomenon, a verb, a revolutionary force that fundamentally rewired how we travel and where we stay. Before its rise, the travel landscape was a predictable binary: the sterile, anonymous hotel room or the dusty, forgotten motel. The promise of Airbnb was intoxicating because it shattered that mold. It whispered, "Live like a local," offering a key to unlock authentic experiences in real neighborhoods across the globe. It was a paradigm shift, a vision of travel that felt more personal, more integrated, and infinitely more interesting. The idea that you could temporarily inhabit someone else's life, even for a weekend, was a powerful fantasy that millions eagerly bought into. Early adopters shared stories that felt like secrets whispered between friends. The artist in Brooklyn who paid her studio rent by letting travelers sleep in her loft, surrounded by her paintings. The young couple who skipped the tourist traps in Paris and instead got grocery shopping tips from their host, a retired baker who lived downstairs. This wasn't just about finding a place to sleep. It was about finding a story to be a part of. The platform's genius was its simplicity. It tapped into a deep-seated desire for connection and authenticity that the traditional hospitality industry had long ignored. It democratized travel on both sides of the transaction. Anyone with a spare room could become a hotelier, and any traveler with a smartphone could access a world of unique stays, from a treehouse in a forest to a loft in a bustling city center. It felt like a win-win, a perfect symbiosis of technology and human connection that was destined to grow forever. And for a while, the promise held true. A gold rush mentality took hold, sweeping through cities with an almost manic energy. Hosts, from individuals renting a spare room to make ends meet, to professional investors managing entire portfolios of properties, were cashing in on a seemingly endless stream of demand. It felt like a foolproof investment. The narrative was compelling. Buy a property, furnish it with taste, and watch the bookings roll in. The platform became a powerful engine for wealth creation, spawning a cottage industry of property managers, cleaning services, dynamic pricing software, and Instagram-famous superhosts. The original spirit of sharing a home was quickly eclipsed by a new, more corporate ethos. The artist in Brooklyn was replaced by a remote LLC with a portfolio of 20 identical, professionally staged apartments. Travelers, in turn, abandoned traditional hotels in droves, lured by the promise of more space, unique amenities like a full kitchen, and what initially seemed like better value. Cities, once welcoming the tourism boost and the narrative of innovation, soon found themselves grappling with the consequences. Entire apartment buildings and quiet residential streets began transforming into de facto hotels, altering the very fabric of the communities they were in. The live like a local dream was, ironically, making it harder for actual locals to live, as housing stock was pulled from the long-term market, driving up rents and hollowing out neighborhoods. The authentic experience became a commodity, professionally packaged and sold at a premium. The line between a home and a hotel blurred into non-existence. But in 2025, the music began to fade. The unstoppable momentum hit a wall, not with a sudden crash, but with a slow, grinding deceleration that could be felt across the entire industry. It wasn't one single event that triggered the change. It was a perfect storm of factors that had been brewing for years, a convergence of economic pressures, shifting consumer sentiment, and long overdue regulatory action. The cracks that had been forming under the surface of the boom were finally beginning to show. The endless party, fueled by cheap capital and unchecked growth, was facing a harsh morning-after reality. For years, the growth was so explosive that it masked underlying problems. Any dip in bookings was seen as a temporary blip, easily papered over by the next wave of tourists. Hosts became accustomed to a seller's market, where they could name their price and dictate the terms. But as the market matured, those problems became impossible to ignore. The very success of the platform had sown the seeds of its own correction. The gold rush had attracted a flood of new supply, creating a sea of nearly identical listings, all competing for the same guests. But the demand side of the equation was about to get a serious reality check. The era of infinite growth was over. A global economic slowdown tightened travel budgets, making consumers far more price-sensitive. Suddenly, every dollar mattered. Years of unchecked price hikes and a mountain of opaque cleaning and service fees began to seriously erode the platform's core value proposition. The term Airbnb bust started trending as guests shared screenshots of exorbitant cleaning fees for tiny apartments, sometimes costing more than the nightly rate itself. The total price, once a bargain, now frequently rivaled or exceeded that of a comparable hotel. The math simply stopped making sense for many. Why pay more for an Airbnb, complete with a list of chores like stripping the beds, doing the dishes, and taking out the trash, when a hotel offered transparent pricing, daily housekeeping, and amenities like a gym and a 24-hour front desk? The novelty had worn off, replaced by a pragmatic calculation of cost and convenience. The hotel, once seen as the boring corporate alternative, suddenly looked refreshingly simple and reliable. At the same time, cities from New York to Lisbon, after years of debate, finally cracked down with aggressive new regulations and robust enforcement, wiping thousands of listings off the map overnight. These weren't gentle warnings, they were strict laws with real teeth, backed by significant fines for non-compliance. In many cities, it became illegal to rent out an entire apartment for less than 30 days unless the host also lived on the property. The market, once defined by scarcity, became saturated with supply just as demand began to soften. Suddenly, for countless hosts, the gold rush was over. The easy money was gone. To be clear, Airbnb isn't collapsing. It's cooling. It's a market correction, a maturation. The era of passive, guaranteed income is over, replaced by a fiercely competitive landscape where only the smartest and most adaptable operators will thrive. And the signs of this new reality are everywhere, hiding in plain sight within the data, in the headlines, and in the conversations happening between hosts and guests. For hosts, the pressure on occupancy rates and pricing is immense. Many who leverage themselves to the hilt, buying properties at peak prices with the assumption of 90% occupancy, are now facing a painful reckoning. The dream of a passive income stream has turned into a second high-stress job of constant price adjustments, marketing, and desperately trying to stand out in a sea of sameness. For travelers, the calculus of cost versus convenience has fundamentally shifted. The search for a good deal has become more complex, requiring a careful comparison of total costs and a willingness to negotiate. The platform is no longer the default choice. It's just one option among many. And for the cities they inhabit, the long and complex process of reclaiming neighborhoods has just begun, with uncertain outcomes for housing affordability and local economies. The game has changed for everyone involved. The question now is, what comes next? How do you navigate this new landscape? In this investigation, we'll dive deep into the data, explore the strategies that are still working, and uncover what this cooling market means for you. Whether you're a host trying to stay afloat, a traveler looking for value, or an investor wondering if the opportunity is truly gone. It's a feeling many travelers have come to know all too well. You find the perfect rental, the nightly rate looks great, but by the time you reach the checkout screen, the price has ballooned. Travelers are complaining not just about higher prices, but about a growing sense of sticker shock and a list of surprise fees that can turn a bargain into a burden. At the same time, on the other side of the screen, hosts are staring at their own troubling dashboards. Calendars that were once booked solid now have gaping holes. They're seeing fewer bookings, and the pressure to lower prices is mounting, squeezing already tight margins. The easy money, it seems, is gone. And looking down on it all, cities are finally drawing a line in the sand. After years of laissez-faire attitudes, municipal governments are tightening the rules, driven by angry residents and a desperate need to reclaim housing for their communities. This isn't a panic story. It's a reality check. The explosive, unregulated growth of the short-term rental market has hit a turning point. The landscape is fundamentally changing. Whether you're a guest planning your next vacation, a host relying on this income, or an investor who banked on the Airbnb boom, this shift affects you directly. To understand where we're going, you need to understand how we got here. So hit subscribe, because we're about to unpack the great Airbnb slowdown. Let's be clear, Airbnb didn't disappear, it just hit a wall. The company isn't failing. In fact, it remains a global powerhouse, a multi-billion-dollar corporation that fundamentally reshaped how we think about travel. It's easy to forget that its origin story was simple. Two guys renting out an air mattress to make rent. That spirit of authentic peer-to-peer connection was the magic. Airbnb is still immensely profitable and used by millions worldwide. But the key indicator, especially in its most mature market, the United States, tells a different story. Here, the meteoric growth that defined its last decade has slowed to a crawl compared to the boom years. Bookings aren't crashing, they're flattening. This isn't a collapse, it's a market saturation event. The explosive demand seen during the post-pandemic travel frenzy has normalized, but the supply of listings has not. And that brings us to the biggest problem, the core of this entire shift: a massive, systemic oversupply. During the boom, fueled by low interest rates and stories of easy passive income, everyone, it seemed, became a host. Individuals bought second properties, investment firms scooped up blocks of apartments, and entire neighborhoods in cities like Scottsdale and Savannah quietly transformed into de facto hotels. Now the data is undeniable. Supply has outpaced demand. This isn't just happening in major hubs like New York or LA. It's hitting mid-tier cities and vacation towns even harder. There are simply too many properties competing for a finite pool of travelers. The equation is brutal in its simplicity. More listings plus the same number of travelers equals lower occupancy rates for everyone. This means less revenue per available room, or RevPAR, a key hotel metric that hosts are now painfully learning. While hosts grapple with oversupply, guests are getting tired of the math. The initial promise of Airbnb was value and authenticity, but for many that promise feels broken. The experience has shifted from feeling like a welcome guest in someone's home to feeling like a cog in a faceless, automated rental machine. It starts with the cleaning fees, which sometimes rival the cost of a one-night stay. Then come the ambiguous service fees. And finally, the indignity of the checkout chore list. Guests began asking a simple question: am I the customer or am I the cleaning crew? The result? In many cities, after all the fees are tallied, Airbnbs now cost the same as, or even more than, comparable hotels, but with more work and less certainty. Faced with this, a growing number of travelers are choosing the predictability and simplicity of a hotel again. But this slowdown isn't just about Airbnb's internal dynamics. The entire travel industry is feeling a chill. The revenge travel surge that followed the pandemic was never going to last forever. It was a temporary, cathartic release, not a new economic baseline. Persistent inflation, global economic uncertainty, and the highest interest rates in decades are all forcing households to tighten their belts. And when budgets get squeezed, discretionary spending, like weekend getaways and vacations, is often the first thing to be cut. Hotels can weather this by focusing on business travel and events, but short-term rentals, which are overwhelmingly reliant on leisure travelers, feel the pinch first and hardest. When people travel less, the entire gig economy housing market shudders. And then there's the regulatory earthquake. For years, cities watched as their housing stock was converted into mini hotels, often with little oversight. Now, they are done playing nice. From New York's aggressive crackdown that wiped out thousands of listings overnight, to strict rules in Los Angeles, and even in Vegas-adjacent markets like Henderson, cities are enforcing a battery of restrictions. Even international hotspots like Lisbon have hit the brakes, suspending new rental licenses to combat their own housing crisis. The common tools are stringent permit limits, primary residence requirements forcing hosts to live on site, and heavy, business-killing fines for non-compliance. The twin goals are clear: protect and return long-term housing for residents to ease affordability crises and ensure that what remains of the short-term rental market is taxed and regulated on a level playing field with hotels. For a huge number of hosts, especially those who got in late, the numbers no longer work. The dream of passive income is colliding with a harsh economic reality. Think about the financial pressures converging all at once: rising mortgage rates on variable loans, skyrocketing insurance premiums as carriers deem short-term rentals higher risk. And all of this is happening against a backdrop of lower occupancy and downward pressure on nightly rates. What once felt like a passive investment now feels incredibly risky. This is forcing a great unwind. Some hosts, particularly over-leveraged investors, are being forced to sell, potentially adding inventory to the housing market. Others, the original mom-and-pop hosts, are making a pragmatic choice, switching their properties back to stable, long-term rentals. Don't think for a second that Airbnb doesn't see this coming. The company is smart, and it's already pivoting. The platform is aggressively pushing longer stays of a month or more, catering to digital nomads and remote workers. They're diversifying revenue streams with experiences and shifting their growth focus to less saturated international markets where the regulatory environment is different. They understand that the future in mature markets isn't the weekend party rental. It's flexible living, integrated travel, and becoming a more holistic lifestyle brand. This is a strategic retreat from the most contentious parts of their business model toward a more sustainable, less regulated niche. But here's the twist. This market cooling, while painful for many hosts, could actually be a huge win for guests. With supply still high and demand normalizing, guests are back in the driver's seat. This means more choices, more competitive and transparent pricing in many markets, and less competition for desirable dates. The power dynamic is shifting back to the consumer. For savvy travelers, this is an opportunity. Don't be afraid to message hosts about weekly or monthly discounts, especially for off-season bookings. With calendars looking emptier, many hosts are more willing to negotiate than ever before. The chaos phase of hypergrowth and amateurism is over. The market reset has begun. Airbnb isn't dying, it's maturing. The wild anything-goes gold rush era is definitively over. The era of reality, professionalism, and sustainability is here, and as we head into 2025, the winners in this new landscape won't be the hosts who simply bought a property and threw it online. The winners will be the smartest, most professional operators who provide exceptional value, transparent pricing, and a truly superior guest experience. They'll use dynamic pricing tools, invest in quality amenities, and understand that a 5-star review is earned through hospitality, not demanded through a chore list. But what does this mean for you? As a traveler, are you still choosing Airbnb, or have the fees and chores pushed you back towards hotels? Let us know your take in the comments below. Your perspective is a crucial part of this story. Like, subscribe, and share this video, because in the evolving world of travel, the truth matters.